Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here for a really quick wrap up of the Booktube-A-Thon and how that went. So basically, if you didn't get to watch my first video of what I was going to read, or my TBR list, the Booktube-A-Thon is just a huge challenge of a lot of readers on YouTube, on Twitter, and Instagram. And you basically have challenges for 7 days straight, and you try to fill those challenges. So, I had 7 books, because that was the challenge, that I tried to read through. And I got through 5.5-ish. And I think my only saving grace with this was that I spent over 11 hours on the road, and I enjoy audiobooks, so I was able to listen to a lot of those on audiobooks, and I'll share which ones once I get started. Other than that, I also, when I get ready and put my makeup on in the morning, I listen to audiobooks, so that was my saving grace in getting this done, because otherwise there's no way I would be able to push through 5.5 books in basically 6 days, so I didn't even read on the 7th day. So the first book was Read a Book with a Person on the Cover, and I read Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson, and I read this on audiobook. Once again, this was narrated by the author herself, so that was interesting. It was a little slow, but that's just the style of the author, and she's like very calm and collected. So it was a little slow in that regard, but it was a very good book about her childhood. So I just thought I would read to you my favorite poem that really stuck out to me and kind of hit me hard as a librarian, as a teacher. This is on page 227, and it's called Stevie and Me. Every Monday, my mother takes us to the library around the corner. We are allowed to take out 7 books each. On those days, no one complains that all I want are picture books. Those days, no one tells me to read faster, to read harder books, to read like Dell. No one is there to say, not that book, when I stop in front of the small paperback with the brown boy on the cover, Stevie. Yeah, that just really hit me at home of we can't tell our readers what to read, and so, but yeah, great book. So, moving on, the next one was Read a Hyped Book, and that was Orphan Island. I started out really strong on the first day with this, and I'm on page like 122, but I had to drop it and get to some other books as I was going through the week, and so I haven't got to finish this yet. I'm still definitely going to. It is a little bit slower than I anticipated, but the idea behind orphans on an island being switched out, the oldest for a new youngest every year, is pretty intriguing, and starting to see the oldest one kind of get nervous about what that's going to be like when she leaves. So, good book, but I just haven't finished it yet. The next 2 sections are kind of together for me because I finished one, I didn't finish the other, and the challenge I was going to use for the one that I finished didn't actually work. So the next one was finish a book in a day, and I had selected A Long Walk to Water, and I didn't actually finish this in a day. I had started the audiobook, I got through like 2 hours of the audiobook, and I still had like 45 minutes left or something like that. And so I wasn't able to finish it that day because I had gotten to Kansas City, so I finished it the next day. I'm actually going to count this as read about a character that is very different from you. So this was about 2 kids from Sudan and their journey to find clean water at 2 different time periods, and how at the end they're kind of connected. So that's all I'm going to say. But it was a really good book. I do wish I would have just read it myself instead of listened to it on audio, because once again it was kind of slow. Wasn't too big of a fan of the narration, but I did enjoy reading it myself, so I wish I would have picked it up that way from the beginning. So some books are great as an audiobook, as you'll see later, but some I just gotta read myself. The one I was gonna read for Read About a Character That Is Very Different From You was Midnight Without a Moon, and I just never had the time to pick this up, but I'm definitely gonna read it because I've heard great things about it, and I gotta get through it. The next one was Read a Book Completely Outdoors, and I chose Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate DiCamillo, and this book is an incredibly hyped book, and I don't know why it's taking me so long. It is so much better than a lot of the other books that I've read recently, and just really, really kind of hit you in all the feelings. So I fell in love with this book. I'm definitely going to be rereading it maybe once a year because it was that good, and I'm not a rereader. I just loved all the imagery and the feelings it conveyed about relationships and, of course, the dog. There were a lot of great quotes throughout this book, and so I'm not going to list all of them, but I am tracking them in my little quote book that I keep. So this was a great read, and I will recommend it to my students time and time again this year. I already know that. The next one was read a book that you got because of the cover, and mine was Took by Mary Downing Hahn. I read through this one pretty quickly. It was a fast read. Once again, kind of eerie. If you have kids that like ghost stories, this is definitely for them. But again, not quite believable because it is a ghost story. But it was a really good, scary read for the nighttime. So I'm excited to pick up our next one, which I'll talk to you about later this week. And the last one was read 7 books. I didn't really think I would get to this one, but like I said, I spent a lot of time in the car, so I listened to Scythe. I still can't say it right, and I listened to the darn book. I read this book, this one right here, about the world being cleaned of hunger and disease and war and misery, so they actually have people that go about that have to kill like 254 or something people every year. They're kind of like the kings and queens, like the almighty beings, and it was a really fantastic book. I'm excited that there are, I believe there's going to be 2 more. I believe it's a trilogy. So it was a very good read. The audiobook was absolutely fantastic. The narration was great. So I'm glad that I listened to it in that regard because it is quite a longer book with 435 pages. So I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I love this author as well. So I'm excited to see what comes next in this series. All right, so for those of you keeping track at home, I read 5.5 books in 6 days, and that adds up to be 1,458 pages, so I'm pretty stoked about. I didn't think I would get that done, so that's exciting. I got 5 challenges done, and yeah, that was my first Booktube-A-Thon. I'm excited to get back into it next summer and kind of get more involved, maybe more video challenges, definitely Instagram challenges. I did 1 Twitter sprint, and I'm just excited to see what next year brings now that I've kind of eased my way into it. And so it was a good time. I definitely recommend it, and hopefully some of you will join me again next year. So I will be back later this week with my July book haul and some other beauty and breast cancer stories, so stay tuned. Bye, guys.